For the last 100 days, I've been sleeping with tape on my mouth, and I swear I have not slept better than I have the last 100 days and felt more rested and physically stronger than I do now. Like many millennials and young people and tech entrepreneurs, I've tried all different hacks to get great sleep. Getting a good bed, sleeping in a quiet room, sleeping in a dark room, meditating before bed, all types of things to get a good night's rest. And while I actually sleep pretty good, I don't have any trouble getting to bed, I would always wake up feeling a bit tired or like with aches and pains and just not feeling like 100% rested. And oftentimes by 11 or like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I'd be tired. And everything I did, nothing seemed to change that until I discovered taping your mouth. I think about sleep a lot. It's really important if you think about it. So if you sleep for 7 or 8 hours per day, that's a third of your day. And when you add that up, that's a third of your life. So I think about sleep a lot. It's important. There's a lot of studies about the benefits of sleep and getting good sleep and the negative effects of bad sleep. So I think about sleep a lot and research it a ton. And when I discovered the concept of taping your mouth, I was intrigued. Then about 4 or 5 months ago, as I was taking a jog, I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, the Burhenne podcast. And the host had a dentist on who was explaining the issues of mouth breathing, which I actually knew I was a mouth breather from hearing from my girlfriend and seeing the drool on my bed and my snoring issues. So I knew I was a mouth breather, and I was actually really intrigued about the negative impacts of mouth breathing. He explained a bunch of the problems related to mouth breathing, obviously snoring, sleep apnea, circulation issues, poor oxygen in the bloodstream, cavities, and many other things that really were sounded concerning to me. In addition, they also talked about how many athletes try to focus on breathing through their nose. And as somebody who regularly runs, breathing through my nose seemed impossible while running. And he explained that one possible solution was to try to tape your mouth while going to sleep. And, went into how, taping your mouth while sleeping would basically reverse a bunch of the issues that he talked were major problems for mouth breathers. So I did a little research, seemed like to check, and on top of it, when I looked on Amazon for mouth tape, it was pretty inexpensive. I think most of the options were less than $15. Everything sounded pretty logical to me. The host of the Broken Brain podcast usually gets really solid guests, and like I said, the tape was pretty cheap. So what did I have to lose? I figured if I give it a shot for a week or 10 days, and if I didn't like it, then I could always go back to sleeping normally. So I ordered a box of mouth tape, and a couple days later, it shows up at my door via Amazon. And later on that night, I grabbed the box, opened it up, and about to put it on before going to bed. My girlfriend was a little shocked and surprised. She knew that I'd ordered it, but wasn't like exactly imagining how it would work out. Usually we give each other a kiss goodnight before bed, but we had to obviously change the order of things because with tape on your mouth, it's a little harder to give a kiss to somebody. In addition, I was a little nervous, to be honest, putting on the tape at first. As someone who knew I was a mouth breather, I wasn't quite certain I could breathe through my nose while I was sleeping. But, I put it on the tape. I noticed I could easily breathe, even just sitting up, and I sat down for a second in my bed and I was breathing normally. So I lost that fear pretty quickly, and I felt pretty comfortable. Then we turned off the lights, and 7 or 8 hours later, I woke up. So I was totally fine. The mouth tape stayed on the whole night. It was a little weird, I would say. I remember the first couple days. It was a little weird having my mouth taped. And I think even the first or the second night I even took it off. But, and I would say also, I didn't really notice too much on the first or second night. But I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. And I kept trying. But after, I would say, 3 or 4 nights of doing mouth tape, I started noticing the difference. I would wake up fully rested, no aches and pains, and generally just more energized. And after a couple months, I just felt like a new person, way more clarity in my day, felt very like comfortable after a night's rest, where oftentimes when I would wake up, even if I slept for 7, 8, maybe even more hours, I was sometimes like groggy when I would wake up and I would have pains. But now, no more. In addition, my morning breath issues basically disappeared, and general bad breath issues disappeared. No more snoring, which I know for a lot of people, a lot of couples, is super important. And like I said, aches and pains were gone. So while I wholeheartedly think all the other sleep recommendations out there are super important, but as somebody who tried all those things, was eating healthy and exercising, doing all those things, this has definitely probably been the biggest game changer in terms of getting a good night's rest and waking up energized. So much so that actually my super skeptical girlfriend actually gave it a shot herself and has been feeling the benefits of it as well. She's seeing many of the same benefits as I'm seeing and others. Even, improved skin stuff, also less aches and pains, and just generally feeling more focused and energized. So if you're like me, type of person that feels like you're doing all the right things in terms of getting a good night's rest, but still not, waking up as rested as you would like or as focused as you would like, I highly recommend giving it a shot. Like I said, there's not a lot of downside, and there's an opportunity to have a really great night's sleep if you do. Links to everything I mentioned in the description below, to the podcast, to the tape, and anything else I think is important, I'll include in the description. If you like this video, please consider giving us a thumbs up and sharing it with any friends or family that you think is important. And please consider subscribing to our channel if you're looking for more tips on living your healthiest and happiest life. Thank you so much.